All right, so it is time. So this is the Infinite Game, and I'm going to be talking to you about investing, particularly in sports card investing and trading card investing, and what are the dangers in investing in sports card and trading cards. More specifically, what are the dangers no one's really talking about? So it is a risk. It's not as safe as stocks and real estate, but you can still make a lot of money, and it is an intelligent investment if you know what you're doing. So one thing that people aren't talking about and the risk when it comes to trading cards is that there are going to be sometimes there's certain things that is going to affect a player's image or a celebrity's image. So it may not just be a football or basketball player, but it could be a celebrity. Some people, it could be Jay-Z, it could be a politician. Like they have president cards, they have cards of singers and other kind of celebrities. So one thing that you have to know is nobody's perfect, and in this age of social media, there's going to be something that comes up about almost everyone. Depending on how serious it is going to affect the card prices. So there's certain situations, such as what happened with OJ Simpson, um, would affect his car prices if he was playing today or even if he was retired. So a lot of people falsely believe that, oh, I got this retired player and he's in the Hall of Fame, he's one of the greatest of all time, that his car prices are safe. They're just going to go up to the moon. That's not the case. OJ Simpson had serious criminal charges brought against him, and his costs would have been much higher if he didn't go through that. So stuff like that does really hurt the card value, and people dump and get rid of it, and it's hard to recover for a lot of people. The opposite example is Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant was going to become basically the face of the league. People saw him as the next Michael Jordan. When he had a scandal break out, people start vilifying Kobe Bryant. And for a long time, most people don't talk about it, but he was seen as really the villain in the NBA. And even though he was doing great, he was doing amazing, that actually also affect what kind of accolades he had. So he only has one MVP. We know the MVP is political. A lot of these awards are a bit political. So that affects him. And I think that also affected his legacy a little bit. But he did recover. Over decades after it, he did recover. And I think a lot of people need to understand that many of these athletes will go through, it's not all of them, and most of them probably won't, but many of them will go through a situation where their image will be attacked and challenged. And there could be certain things where it's serious, like very, very serious, like what happened with Kobe Bryant or OJ Simpson, and now what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Or it may not be as serious in the grand scheme of things. Certain guys, like I say, Allen Iverson, when it comes to him being a ball hog or not being, not wanting to practice or something like that. So one thing I'll tell you what to do as far as what, for example, Deshaun Watson, or any guy that you have, and there's the scandal, a serious scandal that comes to fruition, is to hold the card. It may not sound great. The only way that you should just sell off is if he is going to just not going to be an all-time great or not one of the best players in that league at the time. Because guys who are better are going to hold more value, And also, a lot of times the process is very long, and people overreact sometimes when they hear news. So you're gonna be selling really what when everybody else is selling. Um, if you're planning to hold long term and sell, years down the line or decades down the line, then you should just hold the card. However, the other issue that you may run into is, if depending on what kind of evidence comes out, you may be having to wait a very long time, because if they go to trial, it's a long thing to wait, and also it's going to affect their reputation. Um, so you, it takes a while for them to recover. So that's, you should just hold if you're going to hold long term. However, if it's only like a short term thing, you're only going to have it for months, and I'll give it up to a year, just, or I'm just going to flip this person, then you should just sell out. Like, you should probably just sell out, or sell out half or most of your cards, um, because it could be a long process. Because if you go to court, it may take months, may take a few years, and not only will they be affected not being on the field of the court, but also they're going to be affected when they come back as far as their play, their mentality, maybe a different, because it's a huge distraction. Um, the good news would be if they can still play while going through trial and they're doing well. That's actually a good sign. On the flip side, it could be a buying opportunity. You have to go very, very deep into what's actually going on, because if you don't, you may make a mistake and a person, is convicted or something happens, and then you're stuck with this card and it's stuck at this price point. It is very risky and it's very hard to navigate, but when there is a scandal, sometimes it is a way to actually get into this player. If, you know, because people get scared, people just get out and they don't really do their research. Um, so, yeah, the big answer is just don't panic. This has happened to many players. It's happened to Tiger Woods in his situation. There really wasn't a criminal case to it. So it made sense to really just hold, because he was still going to be one of the best golfers ever. And then, yeah, his reputation took a ding, but he was able to recover. Kobe Bryant was obviously a little more tricky, because criminal case, same with O.J. Simpson, same with Deshaun Watson. It's not a criminal case and it's just more an attack on their character. Then obviously you should just hold, and maybe you want to buy more into it. But if it is a criminal case, and you're not planning to have a long term, yeah, you might want to just go ahead and sell out, or hold until you see some kind of bump and then get rid of it. So it's one of those things where this can happen with anyone. It could happen with celebrities, like I said before. And you just remember that when you're buying cars, like, no investment is foolproof, and you need to have a plan of when to react. That's really the most important thing. If something crazy happened with LeBron James, what would you do? What would you do with the cards? What would you sell them for? About what price range? And if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm planning on making more videos throughout this week, and hopefully my goal is to make about 3 a week at least. And just let me know.